Good morning and welcome to episode 14 of the Major Vibes podcast. My name is Andy. This is my brother Mick, who's going to yell at me because I changed my volume significantly.
No, you did good. You auto-compressed.
Okay.
Yo, would you believe it? It's our 14th episode.
14th episode is really crazy. I'm surprised we made it this far.
You know what? Most podcasts don't make it till 20.
Yeah, you're right.
We're almost there.
Once again, you messaged me this morning, yo, podcast? And I was like,
yeah. No, I didn't ask. I told you.
Yeah, he didn't ask. He said, yo, podcast today. I said, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I could tell by your face. You're like,
yeah, anyway. All right, so let's start off. First of all, it is the 21st of March. On the 19th, it was brother's birthday. We had a lovely birthday party at the movie theaters, watching a re-release of Batman Begins, Christopher Nolan.
And Batman Begins is the first movie that I saw with Sweet Yule, my wife, Juliana.
Yeah, all those years ago.
At the movies 20 years ago.
That's crazy.
So we relived it with our favorite plus one.
And I made sure to buy as much chocolate and candy at the theater as possible so that we can end this guy's 31-day streak, I think it was.
You did it. You went back and got, not only did you get Raisinets, like midway through the movie, but you got peanut M&Ms, and those like each one is like 40 calories.
Yeah, so I pretended that I had to go pee, but realistically I was just in the mood to eat all the chocolate. So I went to buy more chocolate and offered it to my brother sitting next to me. And but he achieved his goal of having a full purple 30-day streak on the Pear app. We'll show you what that looks like. It's a wonderful thing. I think you're the first one to have the 30.
Yeah, at least while we turned on the streaks.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So anyway, let's get started as per usual. The top 3 vibers of the day. All right. In third place, we've got Scotty with a 94. Scotty disappeared for a little the last couple of weeks, but this week he's been
spicy boy.
He's been back up there. So third place with a 94 today. Then we got Chris, aka Sipo, with a 98. He's been crushing it. He's
been unreal.
Yeah, so we'll talk about his streak after also. And then in first place today, we have Vanessa with a 100 vibe, a perfect vibe on a Friday.
That's the best way to start the weekend.
That is a great way to start the weekend. So Vanessa, you've been killing it. Keep going. You're doing really good stuff here. Now for the top 3 of the week. Okay, so in third place, we've got Athena with a 93 average this week. She's absolutely crushing it. In second place, we have Athena's husband, Chris, aka Sipo, with a 95 average for the week. That is huge.
He's putting up the numbers.
And he's on a 15-day purple streak, which means he's above his average vibe score for 15 days in a row, and that's in second place. In first place, back on the royal throne, we've got Scotty, also with a 95, and he's currently on a 7-day streak. I'm assuming, though, Scotty is in first with a 95 on a 7-day streak, but Sipo is second with a 95, but on a 15-day streak.
Yeah.
So I think that should be reversed because he's on a bigger streak than Scott.
Yes,
but I know it's
like maybe Sipo's on a 94.7 where Scotty's on a 95.2.
Yeah, we can't tell. So, but it is what it is. Congratulations, guys, girls. You've been crushing it. You're killing it. You're doing really well. So that's great stuff.
It's a beautiful thing to see. It's a beautiful thing to see all those scores continuously going up, people tracking every day, people encouraging each other every day.
Yeah, it's
a beautiful thing, this pair thing we're building.
It is a beautiful thing, but let's talk about something that's not so beautiful. We had our first big pair meltdown this week. And since you are the one who deals with Carson and the developer more than I do, why don't you explain to the class what happened and how we fixed it and what we're doing to make sure this problem doesn't happen again.
So this week we had our first major fail. Like we've never had vibe scores be down because that's our core feature for more than 24 hours or more than a couple of hours.
Yeah.
But on Tuesday morning, I went to check my vibe score and it was like, your vibe score has not synced. I've never even seen that screen. I've seen screenshots of it when other people glitched.
Yeah, I saw mine too. I was like, huh?
Yeah. So I saw it and I was like, okay, what's wrong here? I went to check the leaderboard and like almost all the whoops were gone. So 2/3 of our whoop users were gone.
Yeah, I know. I got text messages from some people. I got DMs from other people. On the pair, people were commenting on the app.
Yeah. And but weirdly enough, Scotty and Carson,
A couple people had them on Whoop.
like, so a third of the users did have them. So we didn't know what happened. And it took us a while to kind of figure out what happened. I work with Carson in development every day, and we're always working through things. There's constantly things that happen, and we're always adapting in real time. But this time it was a true anomaly. I was nervous because we're in the process of being approved by Whoop for full production run unlimited users, but we aren't currently. So we have to kind of finagle our way to make it work for our current users. And I was like, oh no, did they shut us down? Did they turn it off? Because that's always where my brain goes.
Yeah, well, I thought that too for a sec, but seeing other Whoop users working, I was like, no, it's probably something else.
Yeah. So what it ended up being was on Monday, there was some kind of outage, probably on our end, and we didn't know about it. So the way it works is the key updates every hour. Maybe this is a little too much. Nobody cares. 2/3 of our users lost their keys.
Okay.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Keys were lost, and we didn't know about it until we found out the hard way the next day.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we just had to reconnect it all back together. And it was just problem after problem because every fix wasn't working. And we had to create a fix in the front end that required an update. So there were multiple updates. Long story short, 2 days in a row, there were no Vibe scores for those Whoop users. And it sucked.
It did suck. I hated not having my Vibe. But the good thing that we kind of discovered about that was an absolute influx of messages from people saying like, my day is ruined if I don't see my Vibe and I can't see how everyone else is vibing. So like to us, the proof of concept was like, yo, people actually like go on this and they're using it every day. And if they don't have it, it's not the same day. It's almost been ingrained where it's like, I wake up, I check my Vibe, I see how my friends are doing, I see how the new users are doing, what's going on. We talk to each other, but if there's no vibe to comment on, there's no engaging going on. People are like, they're not pumped about it.
It's the opposite. Like I felt hollow. I felt like sad. I felt like I was missing something. Yeah, I love Whoop, but I don't have that with my recovery score because the recovery score is not connected to a community.
No, but even then, even when you don't like Zalata, a couple weeks ago. She lives in Mexico, but she went somewhere else on vacation. And she was like, oh no, I left my Oura Ring charging at my nightstand, so I won't have it for the whole weekend.
Yeah.
You know, and she was like devastated because when you're used to seeing your scores and your stats and when you're trying to become better every day, you need to see how you're doing every day. So when you're so used to that, so it's like you drink coffee for 30 years. You wake up one morning, you have no coffee, your day is ruined.
It's exactly that because there's like dopamine, there's like feel-good chemicals that happen with your score. Like you won the night, you want to see yourself be rewarded. You want to see how the community engages with you.
You want to see if you're at the top of the leaderboard or somewhere close to it.
There's a bunch of things. And obviously we theorized that this is how it would be used. But to actually see people super engaged like this and super obsessed with their Vibe score, it's kind of a nice feeling to know that we built something that's addictive, but addictive because it's healthy, not addictive because we've been like figuring out the psychology of humans and using it against them.
Yeah, like there are people, like we all have a different level of competitiveness within ourselves. Some don't really have much. Others are like full, like Scotty's always in full competition mode. But most of the people, they're not competing against other people on pair. They're competing against themselves. Like if someone has a 93 for like the week or for the day, and that's their highest, they want to go to 95. Then they want to get that pink score. It's really hard to get that pink 100, but they aim for it. And that's not to compete with anyone but themselves because they know the higher their score is, literally the better they feel in person, like for that day. Their mind, their body, their energy, their soul,
totally,
their confidence.
And you've been asking questions. We've been asking questions to see like, when you're on a continuous streak and you're doing well, do you actually feel better? Or is it just like a number? And a few people are saying that like, no, I feel more chemically balanced. Like I feel more present. I feel more relaxed. I feel
less irritated.
less irritated, less irritable, like better with my kids, better with my significant other. And that's what we're trying to do here is the self-awareness that we're bringing towards like a nightly routine that actually sets you up for a good day. The score is the ego thing that we're doing, where you want to get a good score because no one wants to have a bad score. But the net benefit, the net result of that is that people are feeling better. They're going out into the world feeling better. They're being nicer. And the concept is actually working. And we have highly engaged users who are not only like great beta testers because they're so engaged. When something's messed up, they work with us. They're patient. So thank you for your patience on this week.
Yeah.
And it led to, because things were rolling so smoothly with no major glitches for a long time, we didn't even know that we needed to have this mechanism set in place. So if ever there's like an outage or a drop off or something like that, we'll be alerted as soon as it happens within the minute. And
I was actually waiting for this to happen. I knew at some point Whoop was going to crash for us because Whoop has been giving us the most complications to get a lot of users on, whereas the other devices, it's pretty seamless, it's pretty easy. So like, I've always been hesitant. I love their product the most, but the rest of the stuff around it for the APIs and everything, like I knew eventually something was going to happen, but I'm glad it happened now and not when we are released on the App Store and available to everybody.
So that's a perfect segue into the, like, what we did to fix this is, like I said, we have like alerts now that tell us when something's down, but also we updated the refresh so that if your keys are lost, you just go straight to the login. So that'll happen with Whoop or Oura or whatever your device is. So there isn't going to be a multiple day outage because of this. And we're an extremely small team. So all these systems that we build allow us to continue to be super lean, but have a really good product experience. But the next thing is that it led us into motivating me, you, the team, to reach out to Whoop to really accelerate getting approved for their full production.
Yeah, like we've been trying to like communicate and contact Whoop for a few months, but with no real good results.
Like through the regular channels, like,
LinkedIn, contact on emails.
No, not LinkedIn.
Not even LinkedIn.
No, not LinkedIn, because it's like, okay, you have an app, you can write the what do you call it? The sign up sheet to propose your app to get approved.
Okay.
So I did that like 3 times in the last 6 months. I did it once this week, but contacting there is no support for the API.
Okay.
The developers. But we said like, we can't take no for an answer now, because on Tuesday, I didn't know what the issue was. And I was like, I need to get this fixed.
Yeah.
First of all, because I'm a Whoop user and I'm not changing my device. This is my favorite device to use. I don't want to get an Apple Watch. I don't want to get an Oura. I don't want to get a Garmin. Whoop is my favorite. So my wife, she has multiple devices. Whoop is her favorite too. And so I called customer support. I found a phone number. I spoke to them. They escalated it. They actually sent me an email back. We started connecting with people on LinkedIn. The Whoop people on...
our friend connected with 16 people at Whoop. He was just firing off connections because I texted him and I was like, yo, dude, you're like a LinkedIn guy. I don't go on LinkedIn. So I was like, just use your LinkedIn skills and just connect and contact with as many people at Whoop as you can. He's like, I'm on it.
Yeah. And he sure was on it. And, and so we got some responses, and today finally spoke to like someone high up in customer experience who was extremely helpful. And she said, I'll reach out to the dev team and we should hear back next week. And about 40 minutes later, she's like, I already heard back from them. They have your application and they're reviewing it early next week.
Right on.
So either early next week, we're going to have some amazing news, or we're going to have the worst news ever. And we're going to have to get all of our amazing users to write personal letters to Whoop, to Will Ahmed, to all those amazing people at Whoop to get Pair going.
Absolutely. Another kind of thing, I just, a little side note is, why I think Pair is so cool and there's no other app like it is, I know a person through Instagram, and I've met him in person also. He's a big Strava guy. So he's like usually in the summer, because he lives in Montreal, so wintertime it's pretty useless. But in the summertime, like almost every day he's posting his like crazy like 20, 30, 40 mile bike rides from one side of town to the other side of town, like always posting his Strava stats and this and that, which is cool and it's impressive. And I was like, oh, and he's kind of like a techie guy too. So I was like, yo, you want to come on and be a beta tester and try our app or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I was like, it seems like it's a good fit for you. He's like, yeah, no problem, whatever. Anyway, he gets on the app, and then after it's been like 3 weeks now or 4 weeks, and he's almost always at the bottom of the leaderboard. And we don't knock people who don't have good scores. Like I've had some pretty crap scores too. But it was just an observation I made. I was like, this guy's like a runner, a biker. He's in decent shape. Like based off what he posts on Instagram, it should be someone you kind of look up to in that space.
Yeah.
But his scores every day are like terrible, not just bad, but terrible. So I reached out to him and I messaged him. I was like, yo, what is like your sleep routines? Like, what is everything like? And then he told me, he's like, yeah, my scores are like really bad. I'm embarrassed on Pair or whatever. And he told me a little bit about his routine. I'm not going to say what it was, but it wasn't a great one. And that just goes to show, like on Strava, you can be as healthy and biker and runner as you want to be, and you can post all your impressive stats, but it doesn't mean you're actually healthy. What are you doing at night? You know, if you're going home after a 3-hour bike ride, but you're taking down 8,000 calories of chocolate and pizza, then what are we doing here, right?
Exactly.
I mean, it's a good balance. Maybe you're not gaining or whatever, but you're balancing out.
No, but this is a great segment on why how Pair is different than Strava. Because when we're explaining Pair to investors, or it's usually investors who are like, oh, like Strava, right? You can connect your device, because they always think that for some reason.
Because it's similar, but not for like we can post activities, or we will be, but Pair is your body, your health, like
exactly.
So your vibe.
Yeah. So Strava is amazing. We're not knocking Strava.
No, it's great.
And it's a social community where you can post your exercise, your runs, your bikes, all that amazing stuff. So it's like a level up from social media, because it's healthy posts.
Yeah, it's making it's like activity-based social.
But what Pair is doing is it's showing you, is what you're doing actually working?
Yeah, is it working for you? Are you getting better every day? Are you being good? Like,
yeah, because Pair is it's based on sleep. It's based on what we learn from sleep is how recovered you are, how good you're feeling. Like there's so many things that we can learn about sleep that say much more about sleep.
Exactly. And with that user, I noticed some days he does have like 7 hours of sleep, but he has 20 minutes of restorative sleep, which means your REM cycle and your deep sleep cycle, which are the two most important things to be able to like function well the next day. So there's only a few reasons why, if you're getting 7 hours of sleep, if you're getting under an hour of restorative sleep with 7 hours, it means you're either eating like bad snacks before bed, or drinking a lot of alcohol, or smoking a lot of weed or drugs of some sort, because
or scrolling, or
yeah, but I've scrolled 2 hours at night sometimes and still have a 90 score.
Okay. Or
it doesn't always happen most of the time.
Or other things.
Yeah, I would say if people are engaging in pornographic activity before bed, I don't think that usually is a huge destroyer.
Oh, I can confirm.
Okay.
I heard from people.
Yeah, you heard from
that
people.
The HRV tanks and the resting heart rate goes really high.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's definitely a factor.
I wonder, not to talk about this stuff, but I wonder if it's because of the endless scroll until you find something, or if you do it in your own head, if it's different, you know? I don't know. I don't really care to talk about it, but it's just...
No. Well, it's...
Because look, let's say people who have sex with their partner is that the cool way, the way they say it now? It's not boyfriend or girlfriend, it's partner.
Whatever.
Okay, you're having sex with your partner. A lot of times, at least from what I've seen, people say that, or like Whoop says that you have a better chance of getting better sleep and better REM and better stuff. That's if you're engaging in this connection with a partner.
1,000,000%.
Right? So if you're having sex with someone, chances are your scores are going to be good, your stress levels are going to be down, everything's going to be good. But if you're out there raw dogging your right hand for an hour before bed and scrolling and trying to do all this stuff.
coming up and down and up and
Yeah,
down.
so I think that is where you're
that's the entire difference. Think of like sex with a partner is like watching the Titanic,
Mhm.
where porn is like TikTok on steroids
nonstop.
in the downstairs.
Yeah. So one is a nice experience. The other one is just a.
Yeah, one is a glass of vino, and the other one is cocaine.
Yeah. Fair.
Right. So a little
Yeah.
glass of wine can do you really good, but
Yeah. Okay.
so that's the difference there. And to sum up the
Strava.
meltdown
Oh, yeah.
of Pear is that it reminded us to communicate with Whoop to get those things going, because Whoop is busy. You know, like they're a built. They're a growing
Everybody's
company,
busy, but
they're a marketing company.
But if you have departments within a company, usually they should respond.
Sure. But also, if you don't get a response right away, you have to. If you want to get what you want to get, you have to
Just
hustle.
go attack from all angles.
You got to hustle.
Because their customer service is good. When my Whoop battery stopped working and I needed to charge it 5 times a day, like I emailed them, they sent me a new Whoop immediately, and the customer service was great. So I guess it was that specific department we just couldn't reach.
Yeah, and it makes sense because it's not really customer facing.
No,
I'm not sure if it's a huge business for them.
Yeah,
or,
huge department.
Or yeah, if there's a lot of like, I don't know, KPIs there to measure customer success on the API side.
Yeah.
But it led us to strengthening our app, and it led us to reaching out to them. And for that, we are forever grateful. And
Yeah.
the issue didn't even happen because of Whoop. We're not saying that.
No, it was us. But anyway, a good thing. What was I going to say about that? I'm glad this happened now, because that it one of the many things that we need to make sure of before we do our official launch and release on the App Store and everything is to make sure that we have our communication with Whoop and a rep, that in case a meltdown happens, we have someone immediately. Same thing with Oura, same thing with all the devices. So getting all our ducks in a row, at least that's one step that we're working on now, that we're fixing.
Absolutely.
Because it's not only getting the app to work, it's if stuff hits the fan and things go wrong, we need to be able to fix things. Like,
yeah, it's great to
quickly.
have a contact. It's great to be able to communicate with people.
like someone asked me, do you have any developers like in India or in Pakistan or whatever, wherever a popular place is where a lot of tech companies use developers?
Yeah.
I said no. I said maybe eventually when we're bigger and we need to like outsource more or hire more or whatever. I said, but for now, our developer is in Texas. And if anything happens, we're on the same time zone. We can contact him. We can always reach him. He can always work. And
shout out to Zelik Carson.
oh,
He's been like, he did not give up on this. He was working tirelessly,
yeah.
update after update after update, getting this done.
Mhm.
So Carson, whenever you watch this, we really appreciate you. You're great. And
Yeah.
the setup that we have is we can operate as an extremely small team, but because we're so focused in what we do and because the people we have are so talented, Carson,
Mhm.
I say what I make, like I was telling Joe Moscow, I said, Carson's got mega talent. You have a fantastic eye and, like vision. And what I lack in talent, I make up for in obsession.
Yeah. You work ruthlessly.
Yeah.
And like, I don't have the work ethic you have, but
it's like a skill set, because it's not.
yeah, like you could sit in front of your computer for 19 hours if you have to.
Yeah.
And like not eat or talk to anyone, and you could just hone in on the zone on what you have to do.
Yeah.
Whereas I can give like a good hour and a half to 2 hours, and then I need a 2-hour break, and then I'll do another 2 hours. But I also can. That's stressful if you have to work in a 9-to-5 situation. But if you don't have to work on a 9-to-5 situation, you can work. You can, if I'm feeling something, I can do it at 9 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock at night, or 6 in the morning or 3 in the morning if I'm up,
Yeah.
So that's the beauty about having your own schedule.
Exactly. And I know that if I'm not the engine that's pushing this thing, it's not going to get done. It's not like I have a boss or I have 50 employees or like I work for a company. Like,
No, it's got to get done.
if we don't make this work, like
No one will.
no one will, and the house burns down.
Exactly.
You know?
So while the team is still small, everyone's doing a bunch of different things, but it's great stuff. We're doing a lot of learning. We're doing a lot of
Yeah, and we're building a lean machine. Like we're not gonna need 50 more employees to do what we need to do.
no,
So
definitely not.
we can do great things. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, almost. I wouldn't say every day, but at least a couple times a week, people reach out like, "Hey, when Pair is ready to hire and do stuff, like I would love to work for you guys, like women, men, older people, younger people."
Well, if there's opportunity, we want to give jobs to as many people as possible.
For sure. We've always had people wanting to work for us, even at our last business. Like that was like multiple times a day. Like, "Yo, are you hiring? Are you hiring?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah." I mean, well, we were always hiring, but like that was like a manufacturing company. You had to have this somewhat of the skill set necessary.
Yeah,
right?
you good at inventory management?
Yeah, I'm not.
You good at accounts receivable?
Mm.
Yeah, so
Deakus was good at accounts receivable.
Deakus.
If someone owes money, Deakus is gonna go get him.
Yeah, he's old school with that.
I
Yeah.
wonder. I
Give
wonder.
me the old knock on the door.
I wonder if Raj will be our enforcer.
What are we going to need an enforcer for? We have a free product.
I don't know.
Yo, I saw you haven't been tracking in 3 days. Time to see the Reaper.
Yeah, Donnie just flies around the world telling people they need to keep vibing.
Yeah, we need to keep those daily active users up.
You're on a 2-week downtrend. Like you need
What do you not love your family?
you need boot camp or
Yeah, exactly.
something like that. So anyway, okay, so we went through the vibers of the day, the vibers of the week.
Deakus is a great friend of ours, by the way.
Yeah, he's one of our
For those of you who don't know.
he's our brother from a different mother. Yeah, so we went through the Pair meltdown.
So the last topic here is why Pair?
Yeah, well, we went to testimonials. That's just more to say, like, testimonials is like how, like Chris said, how it improved when I asked him, like, "Hey, since you're vibing like so much better than when you first came on, you had mostly red and blue days, which is blue is below your average, red is severely below your average, and now he's on a 14-day purple streak, 15-day purple streak, and even before that, he was still getting a lot of purples, high blues." So when he answered that question, it was like, he's like, "Dude, almost every aspect of my life is better. And I've become a better person since being on Pair because I'm kind of being held accountable. I'm seeing how others improve and I get to make tweaks to my life and improve it." So that's great. And if you're a Pair user and you're watching this and you do have a good or bad testimonial, please send it to us because we want to be able to talk about that. And yeah, so last topic of the day is why Pair? Like, why did we start Pair?
Sure. Let's go old school.
What was the vision? Is what we're like, have we pivoted from that vision? Because in a startup and technology and all that stuff, it's like maybe your first idea or vision that you started with is not what you're currently doing. Companies pivot all the time. But from what I'm seeing is like, I started Pair to be able to meet more people on their kind of wellness and health journey because I saw that was like a lonely journey. It was hard to find that. And like, the only social media I really use is Instagram. And Instagram, like you can always lie and be anything and look good. And now with AI, even your videos can be not even you.
Yeah.
Right. With your face. So with Pair, it's like, yeah, we start on, make profiles. I can see like kind of, I want to see your routines. I want to see what you do. I want to see your sleep. I want to be able to communicate and meet new people. So that's why a part of why I started was to meet like-minded people. Why did you want to start Pair?
I wanted to start Pair because I really loved the experience of the Whoop group. I loved that I could see my friends' scores. You know, it was me, you, Eula, Scotty. We could see each other's scores, but I found it limited because people with URAs like Trin or, you know, the other guys that we had on board and all that stuff, or RT, we couldn't see.
We knew so many people that were tracking with all kinds of different devices, but we couldn't have them in a group like with our 5 or 6 Whoop people.
Exactly.
And it was great to be able to wake up and see, oh, how'd your recovery go? What was your ratio of restorative sleep? But even with the Whoop groups, it was so limited in what you can actually see. So we said, well, we can pull all these APIs and create our own groups.
And our own scores.
And have our own main score, which we called the Vibe score, which I think is a cool thing. And doesn't matter what device you have, you can come on and
yeah. So that was the hypothesis or the desire. It was like, oh, let's make a Whoop group that requires less swipes because you can see like sleep is different than recovery. You have to swipe. So it's like, how much can we put on one leaderboard that's as simplified as possible. So you can see all the sleep stats, you can see the heart stats, you can see your vibe score. You can create posts. Like, so
If you want to really deep dive in someone's stats, you can go and deep dive.
like super easy. And then you can comment on their stats. And at first we only did the commenting on the scores because it was the only thing we could do. But it's turning out to be the thing that is like almost the stickiest.
Yeah.
Because once you go in and you comment on someone or you look at your comments, then you immediately want to click on theirs because you see their score and you look at their stuff. It's teaching you, it's showing you other people's stuff. You're commenting on them, then you're seeing different comments. And now you're going into a different loop of different people.
Yep.
And we didn't plan for that. We just were trying to create something that worked.
When you create something digital or an app of some sort of platform, there's always what your vision is for what it is. But once you bring on users, what you think they're going to do could be very different than what they actually use the app for.
Yeah.
Right. So we're actually noticing that people are using the app in the way we wanted it. And in the earlier days of Pair, before there was even a community, when there was only like 8 people on, I was always saying like, what I love about the app is the community aspect, even though the community hadn't been created yet. And you were always telling me like, it's not really a community. But now fast forward a few months later, it's literally a community. Like you have people who have met each other on Pair, who are encouraging each other, who are following each other on Instagram and social media and stuff. And we haven't even like posted, like on your profile, you can't even link your other socials yet. That's coming in like a couple weeks. But yeah, so I just think it's so cool.
It is amazing. And it's cool to see that it's being used almost exactly how we intended it to be used. And even more so. And at the end of the day, the concept for Pair was inspired by Whoop groups. And it was like, there are millions and millions and millions of people who track their sleep. And there's tens of millions of people who don't track their sleep, but have Apple Watches.
Yeah.
So it was like, what if we just allowed these people to connect with each other? And the idea there was, it wasn't even so much like for me, now it's like, check on your friends and family, see how they're doing. Before it was just like, there's all these people and there's no connection.
Exactly.
So let's just
hundreds of millions of people who have wearables
worldwide. So let's just connect them
and see what happens.
And see what happens. And we're starting to see what happens. And it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Actually, we had a call earlier this week with our corporate lawyer talking about like investment, Pair investment, and how to structure those investments for like the friend and family round, which is currently happening, and for future rounds and stuff like that. And I actually forgot to ask him a question that I wanted to ask, which was, because in my head, I want to be able to maybe offer the first 100 or the first 1,000 Pair users some type of percentage or of equity or an option of some sort as an early user, you know, because without the early users and all the beta testing and all that stuff, we'd never have what we're building, right?
Totally.
So it would be a great thank you. So I'm not promising anything, but it's something that is in our minds, and I want to be able to offer that. So next time we get on the call with him, who's such a nice guy,
shout out Gary.
We'll ask him about that. I don't know. Maybe you disagree with that idea, but
no, I don't disagree, because I think maybe not in that way, maybe in that way. I don't know.
Just being able to offer them something for the early users. For sure, you're going to get a special badge that'll be permanent on your thing.
But inherently within Pair is we want to reward you not just socially for your great scores and your great health, but we want to financially benefit you in some way, whether that's 50% off on an 8 sleep, or whether that's groceries, or that's like, we don't know how, but I think an intrinsic part of this whole thing we're doing is we want to reward you guys in as many ways possible.
Yeah. And so you said like being rewarded on your good scores and stuff like that, which is one thing too, but Pair is not only for people to get like the best scores and do this. Pair is to me, it's about improving. It's about seeing what's out there on Pair, on the app, on the platform. And you may come on and start at the bottom of the leaderboard, but our job, our goal is, okay, you get on and now you kind of see what people are talking about on the feed, what's going on in the comments, what advice people are asking for and receiving. And if you're able to maybe make a few changes based off of what you've learned and seen on the app, and then you start increasing, that's amazing. Like that is the goal. If you can get 5% better, that's amazing. If you can get 20% better, that's incredible, you know? And I know that since I've gotten a wearable, everything has gotten better. And then on a higher level, since I've joined Pair and now all my stats are just out there for people to see, I have to be even more accountable. So I say, oh, you know, I'm not gonna have an entire box of chocolate at 8 p.m. because my score is gonna be crap the next day, and I want to continue my streak or something, right?
You don't want to embarrass
So you
yourself.
think twice. So that temporary 10 minutes of like amazing food and, you know, that food orgasm that you're getting, that those temporary 10, 15 minutes are not, it's not worth, because it's not only your score that's going to be bad the next day, but you're going to feel shittier the next day. Like, it's obvious. I know that for a fact when I eat crap chocolate and candy, like at the movies and stuff.
It's such a short-term high.
It's a short-term high, but when you do it for 2 hours during a movie, it's just a great time.
Yeah.
But the next day, I always feel so hollow because I've eaten a lot, but there's not a single nutrient in there. So I always feel way shittier the next day. So everything we're doing is just to make you be more aware and just try to improve bit by bit. You don't have to be at the top. You don't have to compete with others on Pair. You just have to compete with yourself. And now that the data is out there, it's great.
And it's a reason not only to be accountable, but a reason to, like, everyone wants to have their vibe score, good or bad. They're having a vibe score. They're looking at their stats by seeing other people. They're learning what the stats mean. It's almost like an education. And so it's almost like budgeting. People is like, they have money problems, but they're not budgeting. We're making a fun way to learn how to budget your evening routine and to learn your stuff so that our users are coming out more aware, more knowledgeable. They didn't have to watch 50 million videos of biohacking
and also
to accomplish this.
And the other day on the Pair feed, you posted your nighttime routine, right? And for some Pair users, they're like, wow, I don't even have a nighttime routine. I raw dog it. I just go to bed and close my eyes and hope for the best. But during that conversation, it opened up kind of a thing to, while I'm redesigning the profiles right now, and I'm creating the profiles based off of what I want to see when I'm going on to someone I know's profile or even a stranger, what I want to learn about them. And a big thing is routines. What's your morning routine? What's it like when you get up, right? If I want to equally see someone's routine who's at the bottom of the leaderboard, what are you doing in the morning? To someone who has a 99 vibe score.
At night, not in the morning.
No, morning and night. Like, what's your morning routine? What's your evening routine? How do you start your day? How do you end your day? Like, what activities are you doing? Like, that kind of stuff. Because if my routine is more like the person who's at the bottom of the leaderboard, well, then I want to see the person at the top of the leaderboard and see what they're up to.
Yeah,
maybe
everyone can learn.
Exactly. Like one of our users, Alexandra, she posted that, like, stuff that she does before bed. That juice that she drinks or whatever it was called. I didn't get it yet, but I will. And like doing those things, it's like, oh.
And her REM is unbelievable. Her restorative sleep is insane.
Exactly. And whatever she posted, what was it called? Gamma?
Some GABA.
Whatever it is.
Thing, and some tart cherry juice, apparently.
Some juice, whatever combo that she posted. And when she posted a picture of it, and then she wrote, this helps me to not really wake up in the middle of the night. It reduces that a lot. And that's my thing, is like, I fall asleep, no problem, but I wake up in the middle of the night. So by her posting that, I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to get that tomorrow and test it out, see if it works.
And how much more do you trust it, seeing that her scores are so crazy?
Exactly. Whereas like on Instagram or Strava or any other social media, you can give advice, but how are you supposed to trust that advice? It's like the thing on Instagram. Everyone's a coach selling a package of something for whatever, right? Yeah. All you need is one really good coach and a bunch of hacks to just chat GPT and reword someone else's stuff.
Yeah, everyone's just trying to sell a course, making a monthly income based on,
which is fine. Do what you got to do. But on Pair, you can't lie, because your vibe score is associated to you. And like on the feed, if you post on the Thursday and your vibe score is 97, well, it'll say 97. Yeah. If you post when you have a shit day, 47, it'll say 47, and you can go in and see the averages. So you can really trust the people who are giving advice on Pair, because you can say, oh, well, if he's giving advice, but his scores are always garbage, I'm not going to listen to them. But if this person is giving advice and their scores are always in the 90s, well, I'm going to try what they're going to do, because clearly it's working.
Exactly. And it's usually, it turns out to be very simple stuff. It's not like you got to, do backflips before bed.
No.
And Pair is turning out to be like the most positive social experience I've experienced
Mhm.
and the most trustworthy,
Yeah, agreed.
like by far.
Yeah.
Because people, you can't lie about your stats, and you can't have bots because what kind of bots are going to have a Whoop or an Oura and a Pulse and a
It's too
subscription?
complicated to get bots onto our app. So even if we have 100,000 users, you'll never have to worry about bots commenting or anything,
Yeah.
because the barrier to entry, you need a device that is like authenticated to you.
Exactly. And future vision here, social platforms like Instagram or X or whatever have a serious problems with bots. So imagine like the pair integration could like confirm that you're human, potentially without having to pay a subscription.
Yeah.
Because right now the only way that like
On Instagram, you have to do it, or X, you need to buy a check mark.
yeah, they obviously it's good for revenue to have that. But this could be like, yeah, I am human. I use pair. I human.
Yeah, totally. So anyway,
So I love that stuff, man, and I love pair, and I love what we're building.
yeah, it's
and
a
I
beautiful
love
thing.
being able to take a concept and a vision, because it hasn't really changed from what it was,
No, it just keeps getting more refined.
and we're bringing people on before things are really ready. So we're doing it properly. Well,
Yeah, we're not waiting to have the perfect thing. We're bringing people on, and we're learning every time we bring a new batch of people on, whether it's 2 new users or 10 or 20, we're always learning. So it's a
We're
great
learning,
thing.
we're improving.
Soon we're going to have that Fitbit integration, because I see a bunch of people on our waiting list with Fitbits. So for those of you, I'm going to clip this. So for those of you who are on the pair wait list, if you have a Fitbit, that is next on our devices. So we're just trying to perfect the current devices. There's like 4 or 5 devices right now. The next one is going to be the Fitbit, and after the Fitbit, it's going to be the Ultra Human Ring, which is a new ring, kind of like the Oura Ring. And we've seen a lot of users leave Oura to go to this Ultra Human Ring because it gives similar stats. The metrics are pretty much the same. However, with Oura, you have to pay a monthly subscription, and with Ultra Human Ring, you just have to buy the ring. So those two are up next, I would say, within a month. And yeah, it would be great to get the Fitbitters.
it would be very nice.
Yeah.
It would be very
So
nice.
Fitbit, Ultra Human Ring, and then if you are watching this and you have any other device that you love and wear, let us know what you use, and we'll get that on pair. The way we are doing our devices is the ones with the most users on our wait list are the devices that we prioritize.
Totally.
So Fitbit has a bunch, but it was the least amount. So we're getting that ready. And then after that, after Fitbit, after Ultra Human, we're going to have to figure out all the Android stuff.
Yeah.
Because Samsung Ring and Samsung Watch and Samsung phones. So we're not there yet, but it's coming. So
We're gonna
we're being
have
patient.
it's gonna be awesome. Very excited about the future. Very excited about hitting the App Store. I was working on the what do you call it? The schedule of things. The
rollout.
the rollout of what we need. So it's privacy settings.
Mhm.
Who can view my profile, who can comment on my posts,
Yep.
on my vibes.
Mhm.
First name only.
Yeah.
So you can cut out your last name.
Yeah, if you want to go slightly anonymous.
Fitbit / Ultra Human
Devices.
devices. There's going to be invite mechanism,
Yep.
create tribe,
Mhm.
and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So we're pretty close. So visualizing that and seeing the roadmap. That was the word, roadmap, that I was
Yeah,
looking for.
roadmap.
So the roadmap is it's getting shorter and shorter.
Yeah. And as for features, we're pretty much not going to introduce any newer features until after we're on the App Store. Because right now, all we're trying to do is perfect what we currently have. I think what we currently have is good, but it's not that it's not good. It's that as we get more users, we see how they interact with the app. So we see what we have to modify and fix. So we're just perfecting the current features, maybe going to add 1 or 2 little new things. But yeah.
Yeah, because our focus is super important. We can start adding activities and calories and journals and all this great stuff, but it deviates from our prime focus, because what is it that Pair is trying to reinvent? It's like social sleep. It's sleeping together.
Mhm.
That doesn't exist. And that functionality and that core has to work.
Mhm.
It has to work really well. So we introduced the streaks. That was great. We're introducing the tracking streaks, the lightning bolt. That's coming. We're going to introduce trophies, which is, let's say you have a blue day, but you hit your all-time best REM. You'll have a trophy next to your REM
Mhm.
showing that that's your best. And that's like a nice, easy, simple thing that we can add on.
Yep.
But really staying true to that core, because that's what we do differently than everyone else.
Yeah.
And then once we've like exhausted that, which could be a very long time, we're going to add the additional stuff, the second layer.
Yeah. So anyway, it's all good stuff. Thank you very much for tuning in to episode 14 of the Major Vibes podcast. Once again, my name is Andy. This is my brother Mish. And we thank you for joining us on this journey. And if you want to join the wait list, it will be linked wherever we link things. So click on that and join. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
We can't wait to have you. Thanks for hanging out. And we'll see you on episode 15 of the Major Vibe Show. I can't believe it.
Next week. Cheers, everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.